It is my task today to open your eyes, broaden your horizons, and make you see the big picture. Now, I know that some of you are smirking out there and saying, can you really teach innovation? Can you? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. I have boiled it down into 4 rules. The first one is think different. Orthogonal thinking is the term. Challenge orthodoxies. For example, think about how Elon Musk challenged the automotive industry. He asked 2 fundamental questions. Why can't we make a great electric car? And why can't I sell directly to the consumer? And as you well know, Tesla is disrupting the automotive sector. The other rule is identify unmet needs. I know you're sitting on a host of data about things that your customers want, but you're not supplying. So you need to think about, hey, how can I meet those needs? For example, 57% of consumers say they have fought over the thermostat, and the other 43% lie, okay? So that is what drove Nest to come up with the smart thermostat, which learns from your behavior and adjusts itself accordingly. The third rule is leverage your resources. If you have a large company, obviously you have many resources, but if you're a smaller organization, why don't you look at what Silicon Valley is doing? Incubators, hackathons, even something as simple as an innovation getaway or weekend can bring about a lot of creative thinking. That's how Disney came up with the Magic Band, an RFID bracelet in use here in Orlando. That was thought up by a bunch of employees on a nice little sojourn. And finally, ride trend waves, because trends provide you with one of the best platforms for disruption. So let's take a look at the current landscape. Over 100 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Richard Sears opened up the first Sears store inside of a train station outside of Minneapolis, where he sold watches. Then Richard and his partner, Alva Roebuck, in 1897 disrupted the farmer supply chain with the Consumer's Guide, a catalog that put all the products farmers needed at their fingertips. I'm sure that Richard and Alva are turning around in their grave right now, looking at all the things that are happening to their dearest darling stores. What Richard and Alva could not have predicted is that our retailing landscape is being changed by the Amazon factor, which is putting a lot of retail brands out of business. Amazon is propelling a fundamental shift in shopping patterns that are pushing more people into online retailing. But you know what? It's largely self-inflicted damage, you know, that is propelling this trend. Did you see the results of this Capgemini study released a few weeks ago? 1/3 of consumers would rather wash dishes than shop in a store. Holy bat cave, Batman. That is trouble. And you know what their pet peeves are? Top pet peeve, I find it very difficult to compare products while shopping. Pet peeve number 2, 66% say they're annoyed by long checkout lines. And number 3, 65% say they simply can't find the product they want. That's a supply chain challenge, isn't it? But the supply chain market has come up with a lot of innovations. I put together this cool timeline that shows you all the things that have happened since Ford started the assembly line. We've had the shipping container, we've had the UPC code, we've had FedEx tracking, you know. and Toyota's just-in-time model. So we are seeing a lot of innovations that are coming out of your industry, and some of them have become very broad. I love the fact that now people are using containers as their home. I think that's really fascinating. On your next visit to Las Vegas, please make a point of it to go downtown, where you can shop in the Las Vegas Container Park, which is built by Tony Hsieh from Zappos fame, which is made entirely out of shipping containers. And the UPC code has become a cultural phenomenon all by itself. And who doesn't like package tracking? I love to see, oh, my MacBook computer has left Shanghai and is on its way. These are exciting times indeed. But that chart, that supply chain chart ended at 1990. So I thought, why don't I take a look at what happened in retailing afterwards in terms of innovation? So in 1997, we had the first pop-up shop appear in Los Angeles. In 1998, Amazon got a patent for collaborative filtering. In 2002, Apple introduced mobile scanner checkout. Kogi Korean barbecue trucks started to ply the streets of LA in 2008. I love collaborative filtering. The fact that I love planet Earth tells them that, hey, you may also like Fantastic Beasts and Arrival. Whoa, that's cool stuff. I mean, that's great, isn't it? You remember that cyber attack that happened this past October? Remember that one, when they took the big sites down? The way I heard it is the cyber terrorists hacked Amazon first, and then Amazon suggested they may also like Spotify and Twitter. And then there's Apple with that mobile point of sale system. By my calculations, Apple moves $25 billion worth of product without a single cash register in sight. This is phenomenal stuff. And who can forget that beautiful June 11th of 2003 when Linda Dillman, the CIO at the time of Walmart, introduced the RFID tag, asking its top 100 suppliers to use it. That was a revolution in retailing. Fast forward, 2012, Jeff Bezos buys Kiva, a warehouse automation system. And as Bloomberg sees it, everyone is still trying to play catch up. And why? Because in every warehouse Jeff puts this system in, he saves $22 million in fulfillment expenses. That explains why you've seen this astronomical growth in Amazon's robot deployment. Take a look at the numbers. 30,000, going to 45,000. And then this fall, they introduced Amazon Go, a store that reportedly can use just 5 or 6 employees, where you can just pick your products and walk right out because your app tallies your purchases for you automatically and seamlessly. Of course, you know, knowing the internet, that immediately became a meme, right? Amazon Go, just steal. But what do you see here? What do you see going on? We need to do a vision test here. And speaking about seeing, did you hear the one about the cross-eyed teacher who got fired because she couldn't keep her pupils straight? Bazinga! Okay, a test. I want you to count how many times in this video the players wearing the white pass the ball. Correct answer, 16 passes. How many of you saw the gorilla in the room? How many? That's great, but you know, a lot of people don't. And the message here is, keeping your eye on the ball is not enough. You also got to keep your eye on that 800-pound gorilla. He is stealing all your business. He is skimming the best buyers in America. There are 66 million members of Prime today, and they are America's volume buyers. And did you see that Super Bowl commercial they just ran?
Alexa, reorder Doritos from Primaire.
Okay, look for delivery soon.
The drone army is coming. And if that's not enough, he's also building his own air cargo fleet to disrupt his own supply chain. But you can fight it. You need to adopt guerrilla warfare tactics. That's how you fight it. The next time you meet an Amazon executive, get him drunk. That's a guerrilla tactic. Do you know which drink gets a gorilla drunk fast? An apricot brandy. Apricot brandy, bazinga. But you know, I hate to use cliches, but you've got to remove the weakest link in your chain. You got to use that famous line, you are the weakest link, goodbye. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in the cemetery of retailing. And that's called gray fields, named after all those hulking gray monsters we have dotting the American landscape, like rolling acres here in Ohio. But you can do it. You can do it. Remember when Carrie Strug was told by Bella Caroli, you can do it.
You can do it. You can do it. Listen to me. You can.
Repeat after me. I can do it. Louder. I can do it. I can do it. Yes, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. You have to just think differently. And one way to do that is to focus on millennials. Now, you know millennials are different, like we are different, right? Because, we like to screen suck all day long, And that's why people around the world are putting up traffic signs that say, beware, texters. Of course, that assumes that the driver is going to look up from his or her phone to see the sign. How crazy is that? Did you see this video? I love this.
On July 18, 2016, at approximately 3:30 a.m., officers from our Southeast District had just finished a call for service in the 2900 block of Eastern Avenue. Suddenly, a Toyota RAV4 struck one of the patrol cars that was parked at the location. The crash was captured on an officer's body-worn camera. Fortunately, the officer was not inside of his patrol car, and none of the occupants inside of the other vehicle were injured. The driver of the RAV4 told investigators that he was looking down, playing the Pokemon Go game when he struck the patrol car.
He was playing the Pokemon Go, and he told the cops this. Oh my God, this is called total millennial distracted driving. Don't you agree? Isn't that insane? Wow. And of course, he's playing this Pokemon Go game, which is an augmented reality game where they layer these video game characters over reality. So it can kind of be distracting. Do you remember that movie from 2002, Minority Report with Tom Cruise? That's all about augmented reality. Of course, that was just 15 years ago. Take a look at the scenario last year in Barcelona. Mark Zuckerberg is walking into the room and no one is paying attention. Isn't that incredible? Wow, that's insane. Sometimes nature has to tell us, hey, pay attention to me, I'm here. Like this dolphin does to this lady.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Isn't that funny? So despite the fact that millennials can't focus or spell, you have to target them. The reason for that is they are now the largest wave in America at 84 million strong. And that explains why big retail brands like Whole Foods have designed entire new venues for them to shop in, like 365. Or Hilton, who has introduced the Canopy brand for millennials. Or Hyatt, which has Centric. And you can do the same. You can change the way you do business too. All you've has to do is tomorrow morning start by getting out of bed on the other side of the bed. That's how you start. Change your habits. And if you're sleeping with someone, tell them to get out on the other side of the bed. Orthogonal thinking is all about disrupting the supply chain. You've heard about Snap, right? They went public or are going to go public soon. They have just introduced these Snap spectacles, which allow you to videotape a 10-second segment and upload it to Snapchat. I was in New York in December, and I took a picture of their store. Take a look at their store. 2 vending machines at the end of this cavernous space. Because millennials will line up anywhere. If you put these vending machines in Venice, they'll show up. This is what they're all about. I love the fact that they camp in front of Apple stores waiting for a phone to go on sale. How crazy is that? Isn't that insane? They're totally bonkers, I tell you. While I was standing in line, it reminded me of this joke Jay Leno told. The only time kids go camping is in front of a Circuit City waiting for a video game to go on sale. Ain't that the truth? Who has got time to go camping? I got to update my Facebook. Poor Circuit City. The only time people lined up is when they were going out of business. Yeah. And then I hear that Walmart now wants to take on the 800-pound gorilla by introducing Amazon Prime, but without the charge. Free 2-day shipping. I think there's a terrific opportunity there. Just to test my thesis, I canceled my Prime subscription, and I placed an order as, Joe Nincompoop. It was a significant order, $136. I placed it on February 1, and take a look, on February 5th, it's still not shipped. It's still not shipped. What's he doing? He's hell-bent on signing up as many Prime customers as he can, but in the process, he's doing his most loyal shoppers a disservice. That's an opportunity. There is a chink in Amazon's armor right there. And since I'm Chinese, I know of which I speak. The fact of the matter that 2-day shipping is so important is because we're all crazy busy. We don't have time to wait more than 2 days for anything to show up. It's all part and parcel of the time compression Ubertrend, the acceleration of life. This Ubertrend is reshaping our entire society. Now you're probably asking, Michael, what the hell is an Ubertrend? An Ubertrend is a massive wave that cascades through society, leaving many subtrends in its wake. And what sets an Ubertrend apart from an average trend is that Ubertrends change Americans. They are permanently changed by these big waves.